On the 4th and 5th of June 2024, people living and working in Argyll and Bute were inspired to come together at Bermulloch Farm following a call to action by the Living Well Programme Board. The aim of the event was to generate some momentum around big societal issues facing Scotland and our remote and rural island communities. The calling questions for this event were: how can we collectively meet the well-being needs of our communities at this time of increasing need and diminishing resources, and consider how our collective knowledge, networks and resourcefulness can best serve those most vulnerable across our rural and island landscape.
Everyone was welcomed into the space, and then we had a check-in circle where everyone had the chance to say why they had decided to come. After check-in, we had a short reflection time where people thought about what they needed to leave behind in order to be fully present. People shared some of their thoughts, including needing to drop cynicism, come out of silos, and embrace change. We then went into our first World Cafe session, an art of hosting approach to having meaningful group conversations. Question 1 was about what is working well for delivering well-being for residents in Argyll and Bute. People talked about collaborative working and communication, including across sectors, a willingness to be valuable and to invest in the shared value of community, and the amazing physical environment and the remote rural mindset leading to innovation. Question 2 was about the blocks and challenges that detract from supporting well-being in the long term. Lots of people talked about the challenges of funding models that are built on short-termism and value things like innovation and newness over sustainability. People also talked about the dispersed and unique populations of Argyll and Bute, and urbanist policy frameworks not working, as well as an extractive economic system and historic resistance to change. Question 3 was about focusing our attention to collectively support well-being in Argyll and Bute. There were conversations about adopting a community wealth-building approach, about having a long-term mindset of investment and making space for prevention, sharing and working collaboratively and building rapport, including the sharing of data and integrating priorities. We also talked about authenticity and truly listening to communities. After lunch, we had a presentation about convergence and divergence and the grown zone. This is a way of framing group conversations and embracing the divergent, emergent and convergent stages of thinking, as well as learning to become more comfortable in the messy but necessary middle of the grown zone. We then moved into appreciative inquiry, where we broke into 3 groups of 3. In each group, each person had the opportunity to rotate through roles of storyteller, harvester and witness. The storyteller spoke for a few minutes about a time that they had supported well-being or had overcome challenges. The harvester would make a record of key parts of the story and reflect this back to the storyteller. The witness would note down and reflect back any particular golden nuggets or patterns they noticed. We then spent time as a whole group reflecting back and harvesting the themes of the conversations. These included sitting comfortably in grey areas, creating bespoke options and balancing demands. Team health and well-being, including filling our own cups, clear leadership and co-location. Community at the heart of everything. Just diving in, starting before you're ready and it being okay to fail. Co-creation, co-design, co-production and listening. And having a single point of access and a clear structured evidence base.
Day 1 ended in a circle, one of the most important elements of art of hosting, where everyone's voice can be equally heard. People shared thoughts and questions, and we heard poetry about the lone wolf being exposed and overwhelmed without a pack. This resonated with us as we recognise it helps to work with like-minded people. We spoke about how we can make a difference to the big issues we'd been talking about. There was enthusiasm and optimism in the room. Some of us stayed overnight in the sanctity of Kilmichael Glen, where our ancestors have lived for millennia. We shared stories and deepened our connections over dinners. With some new faces joining us in day 2, there was a feeling of building a movement. We had another World Cafe session. Question 1 was, if success was completely guaranteed, what bold steps might I choose? Themes that came out of this section were sustainable, community-focused wellbeing opportunities closer to home, reversing the extractive economic model, including sustainable investment to fund this community wellbeing work, letting go of individual responsibility for societal problems and having agency to work with care, love and compassion. Question 2 was, What needs my immediate attention going forwards? Themes were getting people together in each local area and training staff and communities in the art of hosting, having greater community ownership of renewables, and moving from fix me to we fix mindset. We had a presentation about two loops theory, thinking about organisational change and the non-linear evolution of systems in society. Then we moved into collective intention setting. We focused on community wealth building, including thinking about collective leadership and a possible jointly funded role for a coordinator. More art of hosting workshops for empowering and connecting local people. Sourcing support and funding to enable more community-led wellbeing activity. Showcasing Argyll as a hotbed of innovation where people and communities already have the answers and ideas. And collective leadership to influence the movement of power and wealth into local communities.
The event closed with energy and passion and a commitment to do something now, like talking to colleagues about these 2 days and about art of hosting and taking these conversations into our communities. Longer-term commitments were doing things differently in the third sector interface, digital storytelling, moving from talking to action, engaging with formal meeting structures, and using our collective influence to effect change. Our closing circle focused on what people were grateful for, and we recognised that we are indeed not lone wolves, and there are many like-minded people with whom we can aspire for a better Argyll and Bute, one where people realise their potential and live good lives. Leaving Barmolloch at the end of these 2 days, one of the participants shared these words by Erin Hansen. There is freedom waiting for you on the breezes of the sky, and you ask, what if I fall? Oh, but my darling, what if you fly?